I'm Rob Skinner, and this is the Rob Skinner Podcast. Today I'm talking to Jose Luis and Rosario Palacios. Jose Luis was converted in Indiana. Prior to that, he went to the University of Idaho, where he was a college tennis player. He's originally from Spain, and he's an amazing person who can speak a multitude of languages. They've got such an amazing story, how they met, fell in love, and became Christian. Well, not become Christians, but at least how Rosario became a Christian. And I'm looking forward to talking to them today. All this and more on the Rob Skinner Podcast. Welcome back to the Rob Skinner Podcast. My goal is to inspire you to live a no-regrets life, make this life count, and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Jose Luis and Rosario, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so great to be with you guys. And you guys are in our church here in Tucson, and it's been wonderful ever since you moved here.
Thank you.
I remember, Jose Luis, when you were coming here, I got a call from Gary Shasha, who at the time was leading the church or had just stopped leading the church in Phoenix. And he told me, he said, hey, you've got an amazing couple that's moving there. And their name is Jose Luis and Rosario, and they've got an amazing story. And everything he said about you, it was amazing, but it's only half as amazing as the reality. It's been really fantastic. So I look forward to talking to you today. So we're going to be chatting about a number of different topics, but why don't we start with you, Jose Luis? How'd you become a Christian?
Well, I always knew that God existed. I was raised in a family that Catholic, but not very much practicing. And I went to University of Idaho, and over there, people from the Baptist church, that was back in the 80s, late 80s, they shared the faith with me, and I thought it made a lot of sense. But I did not want to stop having the life that I was having with my friends. Mm-hmm. But then after college, I went to Indianapolis, Indiana. I was working as a lubrication engineer at a General Motors plant. And then at that time, I was feeling at the top of the world. I had a salary. I was able to buy a car and traveling a lot. And I saw that all of that did not fulfill me. So I thought maybe I should get closer to God. I tried first the Catholic Church, didn't work. Then I remember going to a church uninvited where people started screaming, saying words that I couldn't understand. I got scared. Then I went to a church where everybody was African American. And that was awkward to me.
Right.
And then I was there for the first 10 minutes and then I ran away. But then one day I was at the YMCA at the gym, and there was an African-American fellow who was a bodybuilder. And I was looking at him because I was impressed with his routines. And then he caught me looking at him. So when I went to the showers, I was just about to get into the shower with my little towel around, and he asked me to study the Bible. I thought he was going to confront me because I was looking at him. So I said, you want to study the Bible? Oh, okay, good. Yeah, no, I can study the Bible. So I studied the Bible with him and other folks, and I became a Christian in October of 1997.
97, okay. In the Indianapolis church.
Indianapolis church, yes.
Okay, so you were born in Spain. What city?
Barcelona.
Barcelona, okay. And so you went to why did you go to the University of Idaho?
I was playing the Pro Tour in tennis. That was my most important goal in life, to become a professional tennis player. And I had to have surgery in both my hips. So I lost a year and a half of training. I tried to come back, but it wasn't the same. So it was a very, very tough part of my life. I thought, I'm doing all of this, living a very specific life to become a professional tennis player, and then I'm not able to do it. So it was very tough. But I was offered a scholarship to play tennis in Division I NCAA at the University of Idaho. So I said, okay, that could be like some type of rebirth. And that's the reason why I went to school in the United States.
Wow. What was your highest UTR, your ranking?
At the time, it was different. There was no UTR.
Okay.
In under 16, I was number 2 in my state.
Wow.
And I started playing tournaments, all these Pro Tour tournaments. I was never able to make it top 100, top 200, anything like that. Short after that,
Right.
I had to have surgery in both my hips.
Wow. That must have been heartbreaking to see your dreams kind of come
Yes,
down.
very tough,
Okay.
very tough. And then for me to see people on TV later on, let me tell you an anecdote. People ask me why I did 3 degrees at the same time. It's very simple. I was watching somebody playing tennis, somebody that I used to be better, and I got very frustrated. So it's a teenager brain working, right. And I say, okay, I'm gonna choose the degree that is highest paid, along with the degree of mathematics, which is the degree that I had in mind all along, and that's why I chose it. So it caused a lot of frustration, but sometimes you can turn frustration
right.
into something good.
So your competitive spirit was coming out because you're like, okay, if I can't beat them on the court, if my disability or my injury is keeping me from the court, I'm going to beat them in the real world. I'm going to have the best career, the most money.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay. So then you became a Christian. Can you give me just a short, where'd you go from there? This was early 2000, I'm assuming.
I became a Christian in 1997,
97.
October.
Okay.
And then 3 weeks after, I was offered a job as an expat. Great job.
Wow.
Making double on what I was making and having double responsibilities. And that was in Saltillo, Mexico. Okay. Saltillo is known as the little Detroit of Latin America. There are a lot of companies over there, especially automotive.
Okay.
And then it was a good opportunity, but there was no church. The good news is that there was a church an hour and a half away driving in the city of Monterrey. So I was told, hey, if you commit to be driving back and forth, sure, take the opportunity. And that's what I did.
Wow. So you went to Saltillo. What year was that?
I arrived into Saltillo. I started going there in October, November 1997. And in January of 1998, I was already living there.
Okay. All right. So big step. You're kind of going out of your comfort zone, away from an established church. You have to commute an hour and a half one way to get there. What was your mindset going in there? I mean, a lot of people would just drift away and you'd never hear from them again, but something special really happened with you. What was your mindset going into it?
I made a commitment. I have to do it. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. I made commitments for things that are less important. I've been loyal to that commitment. So I got to do the same thing. It went through my mind a couple of times, giving up.
Right.
Especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
But no, God protected me.
Right. I mean, you're making a big salary. You're an expat. You're living on U.S. wages in Mexico. So you're really living high on the hog.
Uh-huh.
Lots of temptations. You're a young man, former pro tennis player, but good things happened. Can you talk a little bit about how you met your future wife?
I met my wife for the first time Monday, November the 10th, 1997.
Really?
At the second floor of the General Motors building in Ramos Arizpe. Ramos Arizpe is near Saltillo.
Okay.
And I remember the way she was dressed. She had a shirt with flowers. She had some jeans, and she had one of those college jackets, where the letters are there, like American style, but in Mexico. And we started talking, and I was the new manager, the new chemical manager of the complex. And at that time, I was a disciple.
Right.
I thought she was very pretty, very attractive.
Sure.
But nothing further than that.
Wow.
It was later on that we started working together that I developed a little bit of attraction. And I started inviting people to come with me to Monterrey to church. So a lot of people say no, because why would I drive an hour and a half if I can have one here 10 minutes away?
Exactly. Okay, so let me ask you, Rosario, when you first saw him the first time, what were your thoughts? Do you remember meeting him for the first time?
Yes. It is in Spanish, is okay?
Yes, of course, please.
Okay. Sí, because we have a meeting teníamos una junta
We had a meeting.
Y mi jefe, my boss, me presentó a José Luis.
Her boss introduced me to Jose Luis.
Because my boss, he me conoció a José Luis maybe 1 year ago.
Her bosses made me at the General Motors plants of Indianapolis a year ago, a year before that.
Okay.
Ajá. Entonces, mi jefe me dijo, me lo presentó. Y me dijo, ahí está tu futuro. Y
Her
yo,
boss introduced her to me, and then jokingly said, "I think that guy is your future. I think he's going to be your husband."
y yo me enojé. Yo le
And
dije,
then I got upset, she says.
¿Por qué me promocionas?
Why are you promoting me?
That's awesome. Okay. So from that time, tell me what happened.
So we started working. It was difficult for me to adapt. I got sick a few times. And but then I invited her to come to church, and she said yes.
Wow.
And we invited other people, but she was the first person that I invited
Right.
that became a disciple. She became a disciple. I started inviting her in February, and she became a disciple in August of that same year, 1998.
Wow.
The first.
Okay. Why did you go to church?
In the beginning, en el principio, because, porque José, bueno, me invitó y él me gustaba.
He invited me, and I liked him.
Okay.
Sí, porque, bueno, en el trabajo,
At work.
yo lo veía que era diferente.
I saw that he was different.
Coincidíamos en muchas juntas.
We coincided in many meetings,
Y yo lo observaba. O sea,
and I observed him,
y yo pensaba, él es diferente.
and I thought he's different.
Y pues sí, yo pienso que, o sea, empecé a sentir algo, o sea, me atraía por su manera
And I
de...
was attracted to him
de
because
ser.
of his way of thinking.
Y entonces me invitó a la iglesia y pues empecé a ir a Monterrey
He invited me, and I started going to Monterrey,
Wow.
y empecé a estudiar la Biblia con las hermanas de Monterrey.
and I started studying the Bible with the sisters in Monterrey.
Wow. Okay, so you got baptized in August in Monterrey. And then something amazing happened in Saltillo. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we started, as I was becoming more knowledgeable of the Bible, more experienced, I asked if I could lead the church from Saltillo in the midweeks, and so we only have to go on
Right.
Sundays. It was hard sometimes going back
Sure.
and forth. And it happened, so we started growing. We got to be like 10 people. And then there was a special offering, and the church in Monterrey sent a mission into Saltillo.
Oh, wow. Okay. So when they sent the mission, how many people came? Did they send a leader? How did you work out the finances? Tell me about that.
There was one leader, a couple that was leader, that were paid by the church. And then there were 6 other people that they found jobs in the area, and they were very much involved as well. And that lasted, the mission lasted for a year.
Wow. From the time you arrived in 97 till when that mission team was sent out, how much time passed?
It was 2000, and the team was sent in 2001, and I arrived over there. I started living in Saltillo in 1998, so 3
Okay.
years.
Okay, so it took 3 years to get it going.
Yeah.
And then you were studying the Bible with people along the way and baptizing
Yes.
people?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, that's really exciting. Okay,
Yeah.
so how long were you living in Saltillo?
I ended up being transferred from Saltillo to Texas in September 2008.
Okay. And when you left, how large was the group of people there in Saltillo?
30-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that feel, knowing the church had grown in 10 years
Yeah.
from 0 to 30 strong disciples?
Undeserved privilege. Undeserved. But it's a privilege. We go there once a year, and it's a special place for me to be.
Yeah.
Even people that I've never seen, they just recently became baptized, they know about me.
That's so awesome. It's so cool. So, Rosario, you have family there in Saltillo.
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe why you love Saltillo? What's special about it? Maybe you can translate
¿Qué es
for me.
especial? ¿Qué hace que
¿Qué hace
Saltillo
que
sea
se-
especial para ti?
Oh, sí, sí. First, because my family, all my family live in Saltillo.
Right.
And second, because the church, my friends, I love it, Saltillo. La iglesia, el ver la iglesia crecer, fuimos parte de esa misión. Vinieron 6 solteros y nosotros
people
2.
came, we were part of the mission.
Y ya éramos 10. Cuando vinieron éramos 10.
And when before the mission
10.
officially came, we were 10.
Wow.
Sí, y fue increíble porque casi todos trabajábamos y saliendo del trabajo nos juntábamos, compartíamos y estudiamos con mucha gente.
We all had jobs, and then after work we will all study, share the word. It was very active.
Sí,
That's
sí,
so awesome.
Sí, y mi familia, y bueno, yo amo Saltillo porque está ahí mi familia,
I love
¿no?
Saltillo because my family is there,
y mi familia espiritual también.
and my spiritual family.
Bueno, donde he ido está mi familia espiritual.
That's so cool.
Pero,
Now, tell me, like, what was the atmosphere of that mission team, of those?
¿Cuál era la atmósfera de ese equipo misionero?
wow. We are singers, éramos solteros,
Single
jóvenes,
people, young.
y era como tiempos de oración en la noche.
Lots of prayers at night.
Había tiempos de oración de toda la noche, en los fines de semana, porque todos trabajábamos.
In the weekends. A lot of
Sí.
all-nighters praying.
Wow.
Y era como orábamos con los salmos y luego leíamos un salmo y después hacíamos oración y luego nos íbamos, cada quien agarraba su rinconcito y después veníamos, alabábamos, cantábamos, leíamos otro salmo. Por favor.
It was very active. It was a lot of praying, a lot of reading the Bible, talking about it, and then we repeat the cycle all night long.
Cantábamos.
We sang also as well.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great. Did any of your family become Christians?
My sister-in-law,
Okay.
she's Christian, pero han estudiado algunos de mi familia, mis primos
I
también.
have cousins,
My
people from
cousin.
family. Cousin was a disciple for, but it's no longer.
I
At
see.
the church.
Okay.
It's amazing because God work impresionante, porque por ejemplo, mi hermano, el más pequeño,
My brother,
my
the smallest one, the youngest one,
sister, su esposa
his wife,
tiene una hermana.
has a sister who is a disciple.
Sí, but she baptized in Chicago.
Wow. That's amazing.
Sí, porque ella fue a Chicago, conoció a los
She went to
discípulos,
Chicago, she met the disciples,
se bautizó en Chicago,
she got baptized.
después la vimos en fotos con
And we
los
saw her in
hermanos de la
pictures.
iglesia.
And we said, well, why are you here?
And she said, ¿dónde conociste la iglesia?
Where did you meet the church? I said,
Right.
Chicago.
Wow, that is so great. I mean, it's amazing to think that you were there all by yourself, started a church, baptized your future wife. That's incredible. What year were you guys married?
2002, June the 7th.
So a year or two after you baptized her.
No, she got baptized in 1998, so it was 3 years
Oh, you waited a long time. How come so
Yes.
long?
to get married.
Yes.
At that time, it was a bit different. There was a lot of advice that you need to
Okay.
seek and all that, number one. Number two, we were about to break up the relationship for a couple times.
Wow.
So it took us a while to mold each other.
Okay.
So we thought we don't get along the way we should as a boyfriend, girlfriend, so we need to wait a little bit.
Got it.
And it was the right thing to do.
Okay, Rosario, what was Jose Luis doing wrong? Okay, tell me.
¿Qué es lo que estaba haciendo mal?
I think because él realmente tenía poco en en Saltillo. O sea, he was a lot responsibility in the work, and he trip all time.
I see.
Sí, y siento que nos faltaba como crecer más, como, pues sí, espiritualmente. Y él, pienso que como él es hijo único, también.
Since Jose Luis is our only child,
I am eight
Eight kids.
8 brothers and sisters.
Okay.
brothers and sisters, siblings. So, y creo que era parte también de nuestra cultura, de... Sí.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are international relationship. You're Spanish. You're Mexican. I mean, same language, different accent, but different. You're an only child. You're a big family. And anything else that you saw there was an obstacle?
Obstacle? Myself.
Yeah.
My level of self-control.
Yeah.
Learning that a relationship with somebody so special as my wife cannot be managed in an entrepreneurial
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I learned that during the time that we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah. I mean, you're such a hard driver. I mean, you're just like custom made for the working world, for corporate world. Travel, just push yourself, just drive yourself. So I can totally imagine that would be really challenging. Okay, so 2008, you guys go to Texas. Must have been hard for you to leave Saltillo.
Oh, yes.
Tough, but you did. You got transferred, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. Give me an update. Where have you been from 2008 to the time you moved to Tucson?
So we were in Austin. Then from there we went to Far, Texas.
To Far, Texas?
McAllen, Texas.
McAllen,
In
Texas.
the valley.
McAllen, Texas,
Okay.
in the valley. From there we went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. From there to Chandler, Arizona. From there to Davenport, Florida. From there back to Chandler, Arizona. From there to Del Rio, Texas.
Wow.
From there to Saltillo, Mexico for a year. Then from there to Irvine, California. From there to Chicago, Illinois. From there to Tucson, Arizona.
Oh my gosh. Did you ever unpack your luggage? I mean, that's crazy.
There's some boxes that have not been unpacked.
Well, how did you handle all that moving?
¿Cómo gestionaste toda esa movida?
Oh my, the first Saltillo to Austin for me, oh my God, fue difícil,
Yeah.
difficult, because I always live in Saltillo.
Right.
In my mind, I no consideration
Right.
more
Right.
or other country,
Right.
and no, pero ya después, pues seguí el ritmo.
Follow the rhythm.
I see.
Es difícil por
difficult.
cuando tenemos que despedirnos de los
To
hermanos
say
en la
goodbye
iglesia.
to the brothers in the church that we're going to.
Sí, porque José, la familia está en Barcelona, José.
Jose Luis' family is in Barcelona.
Mi familia en México.
My family in
Y
Mexico.
nuestra familia espiritual es cuando llegamos a un lugar, es nuestra familia espiritual. Y eso es esto es lo más difícil.
Yeah.
That's the most difficult.
Yeah.
Que dejas tus amigos, pero también es increíble porque hemos tenido
It's also great because we have
la
the
oportunidad
opportunity
de conocer hermanos maravillosos
to know wonderful brothers
que nos han ayudado a crecer.
Right.
that help us to grow.
Right. Absolutely.
Y cada, como José Luis siempre dice, cada iglesia, aunque somos la misma iglesia, pero cada iglesia tiene su
Every
personalidad.
church has its personality in the
Oh,
kingdom.
that's for sure. But one thing I really appreciate about both of you guys is that you guys are not cynical, you're not critical, you're not worldly wise. When you came to Tucson, you really put your heart into the church. And even though you've seen so many different churches, I didn't get a sense of like, oh yeah, we've been around. You really were very loving from the beginning, which was very impressive. I want to just change the subject here. One of the things that impresses me about you is you speak so many languages. How many languages do you speak? Can you list the names of the languages you speak?
Fluently 5, without an accent, I have three native languages. Those are Spanish, French, and Catalan. And I speak two other languages that I learned later on in my life with an accent, which are English and Portuguese.
That's amazing. Okay, what's the secret of learning languages?
Very simple, very simple. It has nothing to do with being smart or genius. Here's what happens. I was born in a place where I spoke three languages at the same time. I went to a French school. At home, I will speak Spanish and Catalan. So your brain from a very small age gets wired. And therefore, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh language that you know, I don't want to say it's easy breezy, but your brain is accustomed, is used to that. So a lot of people think that because I'm pentalingual, that I'm smart.
Right.
I don't want to play humble by any means. It's
Right.
just not true. It's
Right.
just being exposed from an early age.
Yeah. Well, I think you're still smart, but I think it's pretty amazing. I just love it. In fact, we had a person here in Tucson who was coming to preach an interview, and you welcomed him in Swedish. He was a missionary to Sweden, Shane McDowell, and he said, that guy welcomed me in Swedish. He said, blew me away. So pretty amazing. I guess you had a roommate or something like that.
Friends in school, yeah, from Sweden.
So that's pretty awesome. Okay, any kids? Any children?
No.
Okay.
We had a baby he born in 2020 in April. But she passed away because born premature.
I see.
Prematurely. It was in the middle of COVID.
Mhm.
She will be 5 years
Oh,
old right now. But he fought very hard, but he didn't make it.
I'm so sorry.
We had fight peleando con la infertility.
Yeah, we've tried to have kids out of the 23 years that we've been married, 21 very actively,
Mm.
and it hasn't happened.
That must be really painful.
It is painful, especially when we lost the child.
Mhm.
All the many other inseminations that we did, none of them worked.
Mm.
But this one, life came out of it.
Mhm.
And we don't know why it happened. We don't see that as a punishment of God by any means. If we think that one day, when we are in front of God, He let us know why that happened.
Yeah. How do you handle it? How do you navigate it just spiritually? Not being able to have kids, you want to have kids, it didn't happen. How do you deal with that?
¿Cómo navegas el hecho de que quieres tener hijos y no los tienes?
It's a process. I think we are blessed. Es una bendición
It is a blessing
pass this situation with God.
to be able to go through
Con
this
Dios.
situation with God.
Because I think if we don't have God, it's very hard.
Yeah.
Es difícil. Ha sido un proceso y hemos tenido la familia y amigos en la iglesia
We have friends and family in the church
que nos han tomado de la mano
who hold their hand.
y nos han ayudado porque ha habido momentos muy muy duros.
It's been very tough moments.
Oh my gosh, I'm just so impressed with you guys. I mean, God's really blessed you in so many ways, financially, and just helping so many people starting a church. It's one thing that it didn't happen, and it must be just really challenging. But you guys are both, you're not bitter,
No.
you're loving, and have been able to handle it in a spiritual way. So thank you for that example. Let's go back to the church in Saltillo. Is it still going?
Yeah, it is going. There's 20-ish people after COVID. We lost a few disciples, but
Right.
it's still going, yes.
And tell me, how does it make it financially?
What we do is whenever we go to a ICOC church, we talk to the leaders and tell them that if there is an issue in us giving our tithe in Saltillo, not in the church that we are. And so far we always had green light on that. So we give our tithing to the Saltillo church.
Wow.
And with that, they are able to pay a full-time couple
That's so awesome.
to do the job.
That's great. So what percentage of their budget comes from you?
75.
Wow. That inspired me. I just was like, that is so cool, because I've planted churches self-supporting, and the fact that you did that as a young Christian, as a disciple, just blew me away. And I remember you coming up and talk to me and say, hey, I just want to ask you, about the situation. We planted this church. We'd like to use our tithe to continue to support that church. And of course I said yes, but I just was so inspired by it. Okay, well, another thing that you're doing here in Tucson that's really made a difference is you're leading our Spanish-speaking ministry. And you're preaching nearly every week. Sometimes it's every other week. Why, and how's that going? Tell me what motive, you got a heavy-duty job that's with Rainbird Corporation. Why do you want to do that? First Jose Luis and then Rosario.
God is asking me, so I'm not gonna tell God no. There is a need. I am able to feel that need. Sure, that means that on Saturdays, instead of preparing the classes and doing all this, I could be on and about. But there is a reason for which I am needed, and I don't wanna betray God.
That's amazing. Rosario?
Because he had necesidad.
Needs.
And del ministerio español, en español.
Spanish ministry.
Entonces, nosotros, cada discípulo, ese debe ser el corazón, como servir.
Must have a heart to serve.
Como el que recibe a las personas o los que
Whether you
cantan.
receive people, you sing.
Ustedes que dan el sermón, que predican, que nos guían.
You provide the sermon.
Yo creo que nosotros siempre pensamos que nosotros vamos a servir a Dios, ¿no?
Yeah.
We have the mentality to serve.
Yeah.
Y pues aquí en Tucson ahí hubo esa necesidad, pues,
Tucson, there was a need.
y aquí estamos.
And here we are.
The Spanish ministry has never been stronger than since you guys have moved here. You guys have made such a huge difference. And it was very inspiring to me. Recently I went to Eastern Europe to be a part of the Revive program, and I saw on Instagram where a woman that you had been studying the Bible with, Amy Pacheco, got baptized. And you were there in your hot tub with, what's her name? Nina Turubiartes, and you were baptizing her. And I remember when she first came, she was invited by one of our brothers, Pepe, and Pepe brought her from work. And she said, I like to speak Spanish. That's my primary language. And so I said, no problem. We've got Rosario right over here. And you've done such an amazing job helping her become a Christian. And she's a strong Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that feel, baptizing her?
Amazing. Sí, feliz. Feliz de tener la oportunidad de estudiar la Biblia con alguien. Porque cada vez que estudiamos la Biblia con alguien es como volvemos a renovarnos, ¿no? Renovar, recordar de dónde...
Renovar.
Renew.
Oh, okay.
Renovar, yo en mi caso. Y en español, porque es nuestro sentir, o sea, es como expresarse. Expression, por favor.
Express yourself.
En nuestro idioma, ¿no?
In our language.
Feel.
Yeah. In our language.
Sí.
Wow. Okay, so what are your plans for the future?
Plans for the future.
Go to Saltillo.
Go back home.
I don't think I will be working more than 10 years.
Okay.
And then go to Saltillo. I mean, that's
Okay.
something that my wife and I have agreed upon. She's moved all around.
Right.
For me, she wants to be in Saltillo. We'll be in Saltillo, retire over there. I don't lose hope on being a father one day, for us being parents. So I don't lose hope. So I plan on being still, even though I'm 56 years old, I plan on being a father, us being parents.
Yes.
And
How could that happen at this point?
Well, we have frozen embryos,
Okay.
and there is life in a
Right.
frozen embryo. So
Right.
we just via surrogacy
I see.
we can become parents.
Like get a surrogate
Mhm.
mother
Yeah.
to carry the embryo.
We're
I
in the
see.
look. As we speak, we're searching for that.
I
We have
see.
an agency searching for that for us.
Okay. Anything that the listeners could pray for or look out for?
And we would love for us to become parents.
Mm-hmm.
If they could pray for that, that would be great.
That'd be awesome. Okay. Just to finish out, what advice would you give to a person who wants to make this life count?
¿Qué consejo darías a una persona que quiere que esta vida cuente?
Seguir a Dios,
Follow God.
seguir a que Jesús sea el
That
centro
Jesus is the center.
de tu vida.
Yeah.
To me, I will give 4 advices.
Okay, go for it.
Number 1 is to become a disciple.
Yeah.
Number 2, continuously setting up goals and fight hard and smart to get them. Number 3, learn not to confuse pleasure with happiness. That's very hard to do, but it's a good advice.
Like, how do you mean? Can you break that down a little bit?
Sure, pleasure somebody may be smoking. Oh, I feel so good when I smoke. It makes me happy. No, it doesn't make you happy. It makes you experience a pleasurable moment, but it doesn't make you happy.
I see.
And we as a society confuse that.
Right.
Then, number 4, I learned that during my tennis times, is whenever you set up a goal, avoid the temptation of over-focusing on the end result of that goal. So what you do is you say, okay, what steps do I need to follow to reach that goal?
Right.
Fall in love with those steps. Be obsessed with those steps. Focus on those steps, but not on the end result.
Wow.
And let me tell you, I've seen that in the world of tennis. When I was 7 years old, I saw those super athletes, fast, strong, that will make a lot of money, that people ask autographs from, that will be on the newspapers, that will be
Right.
praised.
Right.
And I thought, I want to be that.
Right.
Yeah, but in order to become that, you have to be very disciplined. You have to watch what you eat. You have to learn how to play with pain. You need to practice 8 hours a day. Are you willing to fall in love with those steps?
Right.
Okay, then fall in love with those steps, and then the end result will come by itself.
That's just so profound. I mean, it's so deep. It's like set your eyes on the process, not the prize.
Exactly.
And it's like every great coach has that mentality, but it's so tough
Yeah.
to really stick. I'm very goal oriented, but it's tougher. I remember one coach said, everyone wants to win, but very few are willing to do the preparation necessary to win.
Yeah.
So, Jose Luis and Rosario, thank you for joining me today. Have an awesome, awesome day, and all the best to you in the future.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's how you can help support the program. First, let your friends know about the podcast. Second, read one of my books, either How to Plant and Grow a Church or Courage, How to Make This Life Count. Finally, you can support the program with a gift today. The link is in the show notes. Because my goal is to inspire you to make this life count, live a no regrets life, and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Have a great day and make this life count.